All right, economics, day 7. Today was a review day. We started off with our do now, which was a review of key terms. You can refer to the answer key on Schoology to check your answers. We're continuing to work with production possibilities curve today, and we are interpreting, calculating, and creating them. This ties into our first two standards. It's a review of scarcity trade-offs as well as marginal thinking and opportunity costs. One new key term, this won't be on your quiz on Monday, but it's the law of increasing opportunity costs. We see really good examples of that term today. If you take higher econ classes in college and so on, you will definitely be using this term quite a bit. So we practiced with this production possibilities curve. We took a look at how this shows scarcity. We should be able to identify how we have limited resources available. And for example, we cannot produce at level E because we don't have enough resources there. Limited, therefore scarcity exists. Trade-off is present because as we produce more pizzas, we cannot grow as many calzones. Economic efficiency is evident by any point on A, B, or C, any point on the line. D is not efficient, it's an utter underutilization of resources, and we are not maximizing our resources. Letter E is not yet possible given our current resources and technology. Economic growth would make point E possible if we have an increase in resources that enables us to shift our production possibilities curve to the right. Then E will become a possibility and possibly be a point of efficiency. Opportunity cost is when we give up something for another. So in order to move from point A to point B, we give up 2 million pizzas in order to get 2 million calzones. So make sure you can look at a PPC like this and be able to analyze it with all of these different factors. We then did an exercise to illustrate what happens to PPCs under different scenarios, and it involved pulling carrots and picking apples. And so given a group of students, we had 3 students, and they each could pull 1 carrot per day, and so they were equally productive in pulling their carrots. And then because of their different heights, they could not all produce the same number of apples, and so they are not equally productive at picking apples. And so in this situation, students were able to pull 3 carrots and pick 9 apples in one given day. So we plotted those points on a graph, and so that's what we have here. And then we identified the maximum number of apples the 3 students could pick if they also pulled 1 carrot. So we had 1 student stop picking apples and start pulling carrots, and so we found that we had 8 carrots or 8 apples remaining. The maximum number of apples that the 3 students could pick if they also pulled 2 carrots. If two students were not pulling or picking apples, they were only producing carrots. That went down to 5. And then we plot those points and we connect them, and there we have a PPC. These are the maximum ways that we can use our resources. So these are all efficient points. And so we compared this one that we did yesterday with the squares and triangles, and this one is curved instead of straight. But why? Well, we have to look at the opportunity cost. Here we have an increasing opportunity cost, whereas in the past we had a constant opportunity cost of 2 triangles per square. But here, in order to get 1 carrot, we give up 1 apple. In order to give up to get a second carrot, we have to give up 3 apples. In order to get our third carrot, we have to give up all 5 remaining apples. And we call that the law of increasing opportunity cost. We're going to give up the cheapest thing first, and as we continue to produce more of something, our opportunity cost only increases. So we did another example. We said, well, what if the students were trained to jump, and they could each pick 1 more apple each day, and then they would then be able to pick 12 apples. And so we plotted those points, and we identified the opportunity cost of doing so. So if we have a student pick 1 carrot, then we're going to give them 2 apples, 2 carrots, 4 apples, 3 carrots, 6 apples, and again we see the law of increasing opportunity cost. And we graph those, and we draw the PPC, and we see an increase in productivity. And notice that it only increases productivity for apples and not carrots because the skill only affects their ability to pick apples. It doesn't do anything for them with collecting carrots. So it's a good example of how a change in skills, technology, or resources affects one good and not the other. Our last example is where we added a fourth labor, a fourth resource, and so we would expect to see growth, and that means that the PPC shifts to the right. And so we have 4 students, and they're all equally productive at picking carrots, and so that's going to be 4. And in this instance, they can produce 11 apples. And so we plot those points on our graph, and then we look at the opportunity cost of 1 carrot would be 1 apple, 2 carrots, it's going to be 2 apples, 3 carrots is going to be 3 apples, and again we see the law of increasing opportunity cost in this example. We plot those points, we connect our dots, we graph that new PPC, and we can label it as an increase in resources. So here we have 2 different ways that we can grow our PPC, one through an increase in productivity, another with an increase in resources. Adding that labor affected our ability to both pick apples and pull carrots. So that's why we see an entire shift of the whole PPC, unlike the first one where we only saw a shift for apples. So to summarize, 2 ways society could increase its production possibilities or shift its production outward. This could be society or any type of business. Would be 1, if we increase the productivity of its resources. We do that through training, advances in technology, finding new resources in any way in which we increase our resources. Land, labor, and capital. We can increase productivity and increasing the amount of resources that we have. So there you have it. A quick review of PPCs and all of the economic concepts that we have learned so far. For Monday, we'll have a key terms quiz, so review all of those terms, 25 terms, and good luck.